day. It's a different day for me to be posting. This is Jean again. And I'm going to be using, of course, Prima products because that's our partner for the month of August. Prima has, again, the most fabulous products, whether it be their flowers, florals, their papers, their paints. It's all fabulous. So let's get started. What I wanted to do today was make a canvas board. So I have my canvas board, which we have in stock and we sell in a variety of sizes. I have my Julie Nutting Prima tag pad. Now this is watercolor paper, but obviously it can be used for any purpose. But it's a nice large size tag. I believe it's 3.5 by 8.5. We have ones that are larger than that, but this one is 3.5 by 8.5. Perfect. It's fabulous paper. It's easy to use. It's pre-cut for you, so you're ready to go. Then I have this fabulous, also, I guess I use that word a lot, don't I? I have this fabulous set of flowers, and it's called Ladybug, and I just love all the various colors that it has. So you get this little fleck of orange in here and up here, and obviously in this one. So it's a pretty summer into fall bouquet, and I'm really liking that. This is also from their whole line of Ladybird products. So they have papers and flowers and other embellishments to match. So let's get started. I'm going to open these up, and I'm going to put a layer of paint on my canvas. I'm also going to incorporate some textures and some stenciling. So I think we're going to have a lot of fun. Stick with me. One of the great things about these canvas art boards, they're pre-primed, so you don't need to worry about using a gesso or a primer on them. So that's a very positive thing in my estimation. Anyway, what we're going to do is I'm going to lay down some, this is AlteredPages, and it's by Deco Art. And we're going to start laying down little water brush. There we go. We're going to start laying down some base, because what I'm going to be doing is cutting up some vintage paper. It's vintage sheet music actually, and we're going to be applying that as we go. Bum, 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 bum. It's quick and easy. You can be sloppy. You don't have to be careful with this. And this paper is very, very old and very wonderful. So we're getting a good base here. And what I'm going to come back and do is use some of the Prima paints to come back over the paper. And because it has kind of this translucence to it, you're going to be able to see the paper through it. And I'm going to water it down a little bit too, so that'll make a nice, let's see, yeah. We're going to go with this. And you can see I didn't use very much of the decoupage, and I'm going to continue just using what I have here because it's plenty and my brush is fairly well loaded. So let's get some more of this beautiful paper. I just love this. It has such a warmth to it, and it just, I don't know, it's kind of ethereal, I guess, in my mind. Okay, I'm gonna wet my brush just a little bit more, dab it off to get some of that decoupage medium back down into the lower bristles. Okay, so I think we have a nice base here to start working with. And I think what I'm going to use is my soft satin Prima paint. You saw me use this in my other project with the hanger. And I think that's what we're going to go with here. I'm going to let this dry for just a minute. Something I do once I have laid down my decoupage glue and my papers, I go ahead and dry my brush off a good bit, And then I just come back over to remove any excess that might be there that just isn't really needed. And it helps increase the drying time, or reduce the drying time, I guess I should say. And it just gets your work done a little bit faster. Okay, so we're getting there, and we're going to start putting that paint on. While I'm waiting for my decoupage medium to dry, I'm going to play with my flowers just a bit, because I want them to be, this one was sort of cupped, so you can see from the back how much it's cupped. And I don't want that for this work. So I want to flatten it out just a little bit, and you kind of have to almost break it because it's kind of stiff. So now that I've broken it, you can see it's a little flatter, and it's going to work better on the canvas board. So I'm going to do that with each one of these. Just break them down a little bit, not much. And sometimes you have to straighten out the petals if they're too bent. So you see now we're getting a little bit of overlay. Now this one's nice and flat, so we can work with it just as it is. Pick up that little bit of orange pop in there. I think that's coming along well. Here we go. I think I'm going to use all of them. What do you think? I think that the colors, obviously from Prima, were chosen very carefully, and they work beautifully together. So I think I like that whole combination. Okay, we're going to check our board one more time, and I think we're ready for some paint. So let's go. Now I'm going to use that soft satin, and again I have my brushes here, and I'm going to wipe them off on my towel because I don't want them too very wet. And then we're going to start with a light coating, and yet we're going to still see that beautiful text and music coming through. Isn't that beautiful? You know, I think a sponge brush would work well for this too. Maybe I should try that. Sometimes you have to be careful with sponge brushes though, because they'll leave bubbles. But on the other hand, a brush with bristles can leave bristle marks. So I'm going to go back and forth trying to eliminate any brush marks. And you don't have to have a perfectly smooth finish. Matter of fact, it looks quite nice if you kind of get a mottled effect. But I am going to cover most all of the paper so that it has a continuity. Here we go. You can see that I'm not being extremely careful. But I just don't want obvious brush lines. And again, I kind of like using the side of my brush just as well as the bristle tips, because you can see it kind of softens things. There we go. So what are you thinking so far? I think it really gives even more richness to this antique paper. I'm really liking that. Put that lid back on again. There we go. I do have a stencil, and I'm not sure if you're going to be able to see the design in it right here. Maybe if I put something behind it, I have some more of this beautiful. There we go. And I'm going to come back over this, and I'm going to take it off center, and I'm going to do some sponging on top of that stencil. In order to sponge this stencil in place here, I wet the sponge just a tiny bit, and this is from Imagine Crafts. It's a pretty little thing, but it also does the job, and you can break it in half, so you have multiples here. It comes like a flower, so you have all these petals to use. So I'm going to take this fat end, I think, and go in here. And what I'm going to do first, because I want to make sure that my paint isn't too thick, too much to blob. or leave residue that I don't want. So I'm going to do it right here first on my towel. I'm hoping you can see that. Okay, I think that's good. So we're going to come back in. I'm going to take it just off the page. Dab it, because I don't want too much. And I don't want all of the pattern to be exact. So I'm just randomly moving around here. Okay, let's pull it off and see what we've got. Well, that's pretty good. What do you think? I'm thinking it's okay. Okay, so I'm going to come in again, do a little bit different up here. Again, dab it off just a little. Got a flower underneath there. Don't want that. Okay. And I want to make sure I can see what it is I'm going to be putting on here. I like the fact that this is random sizes. They're large, they're small, they're in between. Okay, let's give it a look. Yeah, I'm liking that. Let's overlay some here. Now you can see I did not tape down my stencil. Just holding it in place. I'm liking these overlapping circles. Okay, I'm gonna pull it off again. There we go. What do you think? I'm thinking it looks pretty good. You know what? You can see up here, I got a little bit of the paint went off my stencil because it was hard to see the stencil. So to echo that, I'm just gonna come along here and I'm gonna do a little bit more because that's a mistake waiting to have fun. There we go. What do you think of that? Okay. Now, am I going to leave my area here blank? I probably will because that's where my flowers are going to go, but I'm going to brush down along that edge a little bit. Don't want it to be real obvious. So, there we go. Ooh, I'm liking this. Yum. Okay. Now, one of the other steps I was going to do was add that Julie nutting paper, but I don't know if I'm going to do that. I like this so well, I may just run with it. So, I'm going to position some flowers here. And we're going to double them up. There's that one that we kind of bumped from being cup-shaped into being flatter. What do you think it needs? It needs something, doesn't it? I really kind of like... So, I'm going to go ahead and get these flowers placed. Tucking them under each other, on top of each other. I think I'm liking that composition. And this is something that I may come back to and revisit. I'm not quite sure. It may need more things added to it, and in time I can do that, but I think it's a pretty good base, and I hope you saw some techniques that you might like to use for yourself. You know, you can see how that random stenciling really makes things pop. Okay, so let's go ahead and add our flowers, and I'm going to put the glue on the back of them. Whoa, got a little too much on that one, so we're going to use that to apply to every other one of them. Okay. Just kind of splurt it out. But you know, nothing's wrong. You know, you can always fix, you can always amend, you can always make it better. And see that? I'm going to use up everything I had, plus I'll probably need to add a little bit more. So there you go. So again, I want to create some overlap there. Create some overlap here. Tuck that underneath. I'm pretty much liking that. Hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. Bye. See me again next Sunday. Bye.